I'd say we got spark.
Charles, what did you say to him? It's alive!
Today on Cars and Cameras, we have our work cut out for us restoring this late 1960s Bonanza mini bike. It mysteriously appeared outside of Ike's warehouse a few months ago, and we've slowly been gathering parts to do a restoration video. Now you might wonder, why would we restore a mini bike in such poor shape? There's some huge challenges here. The front forks are in absolutely terrible condition. There's some gnarly pitting in the frame, and I'm sure there are some cracks that we haven't found as well. Well, this is a Bonanza. This is probably the most valuable name in mini biking. It was a big deal back in the 60s and 70s, and they were made right in San Jose, California. So we're restoring this mini bike for the same reason that people restore numbers matching SS Chevelles that are sunk into the ground, because the name. That being said, we're really excited to finally dig into a Bonanza. This one is very goofy looking right from the factory, with a small rear tire, small front tire, powered originally by a Tecumseh. We have a Craftsman branded Tecumseh right here that would have been very similar to what originally came on. We're going to be swapping on a Mikuni carburetor, but the challenge with this is that this came off a generator and the crankshaft needs to be modified. So between the frame modifications, getting the engine running, modifying the crankshaft, we have our work cut out for us. Thankfully, our sponsor GoPowersports.com hooked us up with all the parts we're going to need to both restore and kind of hop up this mini bike as well. So I think we're going to start with the trickiest part, and that's going to be trying to fix
the front forks.
Good luck, boys.
Yeah. So first things first, we've got to figure out these forks. They are the worst I've ever seen on a mini bike. I mean, we've got, now, I kind of welded on it just to test something out, but look at the shape that these forks are in. This front fork is supposed to have springs in it, so it's got suspension, but the lower legs are just, they're gone. They are the worst I've ever seen.
Not to mention, they're going to be swelled up all the way in here.
So I think what we're going to do first is, now I've had these things soaking. These have been soaking for a while. We are going to try to heat this up, and we're going to try to break them free. If we take it and turn it upside down, take the wheel off, we'll get the torch and we'll start heating it up, and we'll get some sort of tool to twist on it.
All right.
Rather than hammering on it.
Find some welding gloves.
Okay. Oh!
Oh, it was certainly soaking, wasn't it?
I told you it's soaking.
Ew.
Oh man,
there's some water in there too.
We're gonna be smoking this shop out. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, that was pretty good. Sorry, headphone users.
So we heated it up, and surprisingly, it freed up.
That's incredible, dude.
I can't believe it.
That's American build quality.
I feel like we could weld up those forks and then grind them smooth where they work like they're supposed to, and we aren't going to have to completely refabricate the whole front end.
We got one more to go.
Oh yeah. That's right. See the sparks coming out? Right here?
Yeah.
It looks so fake. I am amazed that the front forks freed up. I had my doubts. But we're running into the problem with the front forks being in such poor shape that I believe this is the way we're going to go. We're going to lop off the forks, and we are going to grind some points in them. We're going to join a brand new pipe with the old pipe. So this is going to be the original pipe right here. And we are going to join it and weld it up right there. And hopefully the forks are going to hold up just fine. Unfortunately, these are in such bad shape that I don't think there's much saving, so we're going to have to go with some new metal on this. So while I'm getting some new metal for the forks, John and Charles are going to be getting the engine running.
All right, so like we mentioned, this is a Craftsman branded Tecumseh 172cc engine. It would be very similar to what came on this Bonanza from the factory. We reckon it's a 4-horse, and it's definitely a flathead. All the oil leaked out while it was sitting in before we started filming. One of the ears on this oil fill cap is broken off. We reckon it has a crack in it or something, and it's leaking out there. So that's something we need to address. Another thing we're going to be doing is replacing the factory-style carburetor with a Mikuni 22mm from GoPowersports.com. We've always found that original Tecumseh carburetors just don't like bumpy conditions on a go-kart or a mini bike. So a Mikuni 22 is going to be great for reliability as well as performance. So this engine definitely does not run. First things first, we're going to throw some oil in it, check for spark. If we can get it running, we're going to need to get a little bit creative to turn down that crankshaft, which was made for a generator.
Pretty sure that's the culprit of the leak. But we're not sure where. I don't think we got spark. Bummer. Turns out we don't have spark, unfortunately. We're gonna have to tear into the ignition system, so that means pulling the fan shroud off and also the flywheel to get to the points and condenser. Hopefully we can just sand them and maybe we can get it to work.
It works on old Hondas all the time, so let's hope Tecumseh's the same.
Yeah.
You might want to throw a Honda sticker on there real quick.
Sweet.
One and done?
Sweet.
Man, nice job.
All right. Yep. Definitely got points. That's pretty cool. Pull this cap off. Oh, look at that little. All right, we'll take the timing key out. Oh, that's cool. So the step goes in.
Okay.
So we know. Oh,
don't-
wow.
It's been a long time since I've done points, if ever, on one of these
I don't
things.
know what that is. It's crumbly. Let's just not worry about it. Okay, so
There they are.
there they are down there. All right, so I'm going to rotate it.
So we have the cover off the ignition system, and like we've been mentioning, this uses point style ignition. It's an old style of ignition. I'm going to say they haven't used it since 1980 or so. I'm just completely spitballing. And it's nice because usually if you don't have spark and something has been sitting a long time, you can sand where these points meet and get them working again. The downsides are that points is usually not as smooth or as reliable as electronic ignition. But it's the old style, and it's cool to see how this stuff used to work. So as the engine rotates, there's a cam on the crankshaft here. And this cam, when it passes a certain point, it opens and closes what are called the points. And every time the contact breaks is when it sends spark to the spark plug. So you might be saying, well, on a 4-stroke, that means that you would get 2 sparks for every 4 strokes. That's right. These small engines use what's called a waste ignition. Is that right?
Yep.
It sparks on top dead center combustion stroke when it should, and it also sparks on the exhaust stroke. Would that be right?
Yep, to burn unused fuel.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So it's just interesting how these small engines work. So you have the points, and then you also have the condenser here. So on all the old Hondas we work on, they usually have this style ignition system as well. And so when you lose spark, you can usually sand where the points meet and readjust your points gap and throw it back together and hit the road. Usually it works out. So We're gonna get our feeler gauges and our sandpaper
And
and
cross our
cross
fingers.
our fingers.
So we've jammed a very small piece of sandpaper in there, and then we're rotating the engine so that the points close.
Yeah, but not fully, just a little bit, because you don't want to sand too much material away, because that'll increase your points gap. After cleaning the contacts on your points, you're definitely going to want to check your points gap. And we searched online, had some trouble finding it. Turns out it's on this cap. I guess it's because this engine comes from a time where you couldn't look for things online. They had to put it on the stuff.
Very cool.
So 20 thousandths is the magic number. So you get your feeler gauge set, and you want it nice and tight. Not too much resistance, but you want it to kind of pull. But and first thing is, I've kind of missed a step, is you open the points gap. You get it to its widest point,
And that's where you want to adjust it.
and that's where you want to adjust it.
So we're happy with the points gap, but in case you do need to adjust, you do it with that flathead right there. So in order to test the ignition system, we need to throw it all back together. Put the flywheel on, because that's where our magnets are. And that's what passes by the coil and tells the system, hey, here's some energy. Do something with it.
I love this old stuff, though.
It's very cool.
Neat little cover. Hold down.
You can test for spark without putting everything back together. You just need the flywheel on and just something to rotate it over with.
Yep. And I know I'm using my impact, but I'm not going to, send it to Ugga town. I'm just going to get the
just
motor.
to get it spin.
Spark plugs out. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to get it going and grab the wire. Oh, God. Hold on. Hold on.
Funny, it worked before.
It was so... There we go. Ah! I'd say we got spark.
Did you shock yourself?
I felt it in both hands. I mean, it definitely went through that one and out that. Oh man, we got spark.
Hey!
Hey, got everything buttoned up. Got the starter cup and the chopper screen installed. I think we're ready to throw some hot sauce down the throat and see if it'll start. Oh boy. Well, that might be enough.
Maybe we should put it on the ground. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe just put it on the ground. Ow.
Okay, let's go to the ground.
Just keep your foot on it. Ready?
Yep.
There we go. I heard some life.
There we go.
Wow.
Sounded pretty good.
Didn't sound too bad.
No. Didn't smoke.
I didn't hear any knock.
Good job,
Yeah.
guys.
Yep.
Charles just pulling it back apart to lubricate the starter.
Yep.
Yeah.
It speaks for itself.
And it didn't sound like it knocked. It might smoke. We don't know. But basically, it runs. Cool. It's enough to throw it on the bike.
Right.
So, Ike, what do you got, man?
Well, I went to the local metal shop and I bought some new fork material, some 13/16 diameter solid stock pipe, and I'm gonna lop it off right here. I'm going to taper it. Same thing with the brand new pipe. I'm gonna put it together and weld it up, and that'll save me from welding up all of this hours of work. So
It should be a cleaner result, too.
yeah, it's gonna hurt a little bit, man. But you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, John, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Gosh, this is gonna hurt.
He's getting all red in the face. He's getting there.
He's working on acting. His acting career is going to take off from this.
No. Oh, there it is. There, tears. He's got tears. This feels like abuse. Charles, what did you say to him?
All right, so I've got to do a little bit more welding here, but so far, here's what we got. Not too bad, but it could be better.
Still looks pretty darn good.
It looks better than what we had, definitely. So Charles is looking pretty good over there.
Well, thank you.
Oh, I'm talking about what you're doing.
Oh yeah. Well, I got a facelift on your Tecumseh.
That looks pretty good.
I like it. So, the throat on the 22 was like that big, and the throat on the intake was pretty darn small. So we had to put a washer in between to take up the space. I think it'll work just fine.
Ike is doing a fantastic job on the new fork tubes, and Charles did a great job hanging this new carburetor from this old HS40, which brings us to today's sponsor, GoPowersports.com. Whether you need replacement parts, upgrade parts for your classic go-karts or mini bikes, or new go-karts or mini bikes, GoPowersports can sell you all the parts you need for a great price. Take this 22mm Mikuni carburetor, for example. This is the Cars and Cameras Silver Bullet. We love them on these old HS40s, old Briggs 5 horses. They perform great, and they work on anything up to about an 18 horsepower Predator 212 style engine. It actually bolted right up too, with the exception of this little washer flange we had to make, which you can make yourself very simply. So all the other parts that we're using in today's build are from Go Power Sports. We're going to talk about them a little bit later, but anytime you place an order with Go Power Sports, let them know in the order notes that Cars and Cameras sent you, and you can find all these parts at links in the description if you want to check them out for yourself. All right, let's get that other fork tube on and get this engine mounted. We'll be one step closer.
So I've got the old fork right here. It came loose from the spring and the thing, but I'm taking advantage of that. And here's the new piece right here. I'm setting it in this angle iron, which is gonna which is gonna help center it up. And I got this awesome table here that I'm gonna use so I don't burn my legs and stuff. Now, these are for sale at CarsandCameras.com, and they are a real nice addition to your Harbor Freight. I can't remember exactly what model number cart this is, but the link will be in the description of this video. So if you want to get one for yourself, get you one, and let John know that Isaac sent you. You ready, Charles?
Yeah.
Cover. So here's the old one, and there's the new, but I've got to put this piece on the end, which is a hollow pipe that the axle runs through. So what I've got here is a identical size pipe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right up here. I'm going to weld it up, and then I'm going to trim it afterwards. That way this piece is nice and straight.
Perfect idea, man.
Thanks, buddy. Now, just got to ground it. Got to make her just right. Ready?
Yep.
Cover. So we're trying to set up these fork tubes, and we're having a hard time because apparently this thing has been in an accident. So we got this long bar here. We're going to weld up here, and we're going to just give it a good old tug to try to line things back up. Alright, I still have to tweak on it. So Charles,
Yes, sir.
can you give me a hand?
All right.
Stand on that handlebar, buddy.
Okay. I saw a lot of movement.
Ooh, that's better. Not there yet, though. Try it again. Oh, I think one more, dude.
Every bit that you're moving it, it comes right back. But
Not every bit, because
oh,
I'm
that's
looking at-
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think it's there. At least this part seems to be lining up
Yeah.
with the front plate. Now, what about the level? Are we?
It's still got that optical illusion, like one side's like half a bubble lower than the other.
We should be able to bolt the wheel up, and if we have to do a little bit of tweaking, we can do some tweaking.
And then we send it.
Yep.
Ike is moving right along with the front end. So I'm going to be working on the rear end. So here is our tire and tube that we're going to be using. We're going to be using these really, really cool 5-spoke wheels from Go Power Sports, as well as a mix of items to adapt to fit these wheels with a sprocket and a chain that's going to work on that old mini bike. So starting with the wheel, just fits in like that and it looks incredible. Also, these split rims are like some of the easiest types of tires to change, if not the easiest.
So in order to make this wheel work with a brake and with a sprocket, we need this piece right here, also sold by Go Power Sports. This is kind of a lifesaver for all these old mini bikes because it looks like cottage cheese. No, it looks like Swiss cheese, that kind of cheese. But it's really designed to work for a whole bunch of different bolt patterns. So the way we need to do it is we can place it right here, and we need bolts as well and spacers. We're going to need to space this out to line our sprocket up that bolts right here with the clutch on the engine. So we're not sure what our spacing is going to be quite yet, so we can't bolt the wheel together until we get the engine on the bike, which I guess we should go do that next. But basically you have that, and then here's the brake itself, and you just have a tab that comes off the frame that this mounts into, and your linkage goes right there, and bada bing, bada boom, you have brakes. Okay, so we got a little bit ahead of ourselves with the rear wheel assembly. We first need to get the engine mounted and get a clutch mounted on the engine. That's a challenge in this case because this engine came off a generator and it has a weird 7/8 or so tapered shaft.
Tapered shaft.
Yeah. So we are going to fire this engine up. It's bolted to the frame, and someone is going to hold
the grinder to it, and we're going to grind on the crankshaft until the clutch fits.
And then someone's going to grind a keyway in it. So this is precision right here.
Oh, it's janky as can be.
Yeah. But it's Cars and Cameras.
That's right.
And then once we do that, we can get this clutch on and see if our chain assembly is going to fit, because this rear axle bracket is a little bit suspicious. It might be on our way.
It'll fit.
It'll fit. Yeah, so let's do it.
We're gonna have fuel going everywhere
Yeah.
because it's gonna
And
pop.
a fire.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we cannot let this mini bike fall off this.
Here we are.
bucket. Ready?
Yeah.
I got the choke on.
Yeah.
You got the throttle.
Oh, second pull, kind of. It's alive! Oh, it's smoky, alright.
That's all right. Yep.
It's just the most ridiculous thing. 4 guys in a shed.
Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh no,
Oh
dude.
my God. Oh.
Too much.
I took too much off.
Oh.
That went fast.
That went so fast.
All right, someone get the welder out.
Ike, what's your trick for this, dude?
We could always go to the smaller size.
I don't think we have a 5/8.
I don't think so either.
I know what we can do. Get the welder. Oh,
Weld it back up.
Back down again.
That's what we're looking at, man.
Hey, look, man, I messed up.
No,
I messed up.
no one's
I
playing
messed
the blame
up.
game, but
That's a good stone on that thing.
That was a brand new one.
Yeah, that thing cut it down fast.
I think we started with something really close to 3/4 was the problem.
It was really
I should have measured it. I never measured it. I just tried fitting the clutch, and I've always thought,
Wait, we didn't measure? Oh, man.
so since I messed up so bad, we're gonna build up the crankshaft once again, and so I can grind it down again. It'll be fine.
Absolutely.
Charles is helping me. All right, so we good?
Yep. So I'm watching it and turning it.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I don't know if I...
Go ahead and start pulling on it.
Okay.
All right, get another bite.
That's a face only a mother could love.
Sorry about it.
That is
It'll be
bad.
fine.
I hope you.
That's your famous line right there. That looks like buzzard crap on a pump handle.
I can fix this.
But I'm not I'm actually not like picking on your welding.
I can fix it.
I am.
It's what I mean, like making chicken salad out of chicken poop. That's what we're doing.
Yep. There we go.
Wow, that poop has a hole in it.
I did bad. I did so bad. But I think we're gonna be okay. So I was able to get the clutch back on this shaft by someone pulling over the engine, and I used a marker, and I held the marker real close, and as the crankshaft came around, all the high spots got marked with blue, and I just slowly ground every single high spot down and was able to get the shaft back into spec.
Perfect.
Spec.
I guess when we fire it up, we'll see how much wobble it has.
Oh, she's gonna have some wobble now.
That looks like a professionally cut keyway as well.
It's actually not bad. Look at that.
So it's done? The nightmare's over?
I think I'm going to cut the end of the crankshaft off, and I'm hoping that there's going to be enough thread that we can put a bolt in it.
The engine's bolted on, clutch is on, runs great. Let's get the front and rear wheels on, and let's have a roller.
There we go. It's hitting that lid on the bucket.
Looks good.
Let's get this axle in, and we're going to be golden.
Dude, I like it.
I like this.
It's a great setup. Where's the seat? What do you think of my Bonanza? I matched the seat.
So we took a late 1960s Bonanza mini bike that had been sitting for who knows how long with frozen front suspension that was badly corroded to a rolling chassis. In the next episode, we're gonna get this thing running and riding for the first time in who knows how many decades. We still have quite a lot to do to finish this project up. The driveline is going to take some time, and then it should be time for a proper rip and to see what it lays down around the Cars and Cameras Grand Prix. If you enjoyed this episode, leave it a thumbs up, and visit our sponsor, GoPowersports.com, for all your mini bike and go-kart needs. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. We were kind of bummed we didn't get the Bonanza running and riding in one episode, but there were a couple of holdups with trying to find the right size tubing for our fork tubes, as well as the crankshaft situation, but we got a runner, and in the next episode we will have a rider and a ripper. One more thing, everybody, just like in years past, we're going to be at the Go Power Sports booth at the Pate Swap Meet this year, April 28th through April 30th of 2022. It's held at the Texas Motor Speedway. Go ahead and go on to Go Power Sports Facebook page under their events tab and press interested or going for updates on where exactly the booth is going to be. We're also going to be posting some updates from our Facebook page as well, but we're looking forward to seeing you guys there. Come on out. It's always a great time. There's lots to see, lots to buy. one of the largest gatherings of mini bikes is at the Go Power Sports booth, I'd say, at the Pate Swap Meet every single year. We can't wait to be there. Be sure to subscribe to Cars and Cameras because we just got finished up doing a Ducati versus 672 stroke head-to-head at an airstrip. So we filmed it. It was awesome. I don't want to spoil anything, but be sure you're subscribed to catch that episode. It was truly epic. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you next time.
I thought all that smoke was from the heating up the front forks on the bike, and it wasn't. It was a plastic bucket that fell on top of the wood heater in there, and it was a big bucket, and it just sat there and simmered and melted down and just started smoking up the whole shop.
Like, darn, that that PV blaster is making a lot of smoke today.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let it air out for a while.